Good morning. This is the Tuesday, August 23rd meeting of the Lancaster County Board of Commissioners, specifically for our public hearing on the budget. And so we'll invite people at this time to step forward if they'd like to provide public comment on our proposed budget.
I think first, Deb, we should announce that the Open Meetings Act is on the wall at the rear of the hearing room.
Yes, thank you.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony we're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do. All right. Good morning. Dennis Meyer, County Budget and Fiscal Director. So today we're going to just kind of quick go over the proposed budget. With the agenda that's out there, there's a couple items that are attached to it. The one that has the word budget will take you out to kind of a story that kind of is what I'll kind of be addressing today. Just kind of outlines some of the items. The other link on there takes you right out to the transparency portal, and it allows you to kind of see a lot of the information in graphs and charts and stuff like that. So this story here is also out on the transparency portal. So basically everything that I kind of talk about today, everybody has the opportunity to go into the portal and see that same information. Once our budget is final, there will be a couple things that will be tweaked throughout. Once I tweak those, it will then automatically change. So once we walk away, make those changes, the portal will be updated, and any of the information will be out there. So let's talk about the county's proposed budget. Total budget of expenditures is $278,287,274. The $278 million is really kind of the largest budget that Lancaster County has worked with. It becomes almost a 12% increase. Now, taking that in mind, what I would remind everybody is wait till I talk about what's happening with property tax before we get real concerned with the expenditure side. What's driving the expenses? Our grants fund is increasing by $17.1 million, and it's really due to the timing of ARPA expenditures. You know, last couple of years we've been receiving the ARPA money. We've been doing a lot of getting contracts and all of that stuff together so that we're ready to go. This year will be kind of more of the first year of actually spending it on various projects as they get going, as the broadband gets going, as some of those bigger ones get going. That's going to happen this year. Because of those ARPA expenditures, you know, it's kind of weird because salaries and benefits are really no longer the largest piece of the budget. It now falls under other charges and services, and it's because of that ARPA money doing it. So not only do we have the ARPA expenditures in here, but it kind of messes with our functions too. So it's kind of, it just kind of is different. The general fund is increasing by $10.6 million. And the reason behind that is really a couple big union contracts this year. You know, FOP 29 and FOP 32. Those are driving the budget by close to $4 million. Court-appointed counsel rates were increased by the judges, which after we squeezed them back down a little bit are still increasing by about $1.2 million. Medical services contracts out at the jail and out at the youth services center, again, is another $1.2 million. In the general fund, we do make transfers. In governmental accounting, you know, you really book any type of expenditure. So transfers do hit just like any normal expenditure, but really when you make a transfer, you really spend it twice. once when you transfer it, and then the next time you actually spend it in that fund. So transfers really just kind of duplicate expenditures. And this year in the general fund, one of the different transfers that we have is we're transferring about $1.5 million to our other self-insurance fund, just to solidify kind of our self-insurance status. So again, it's just hitting the expenditure side. A couple other things that we did this year on the federal aid projects. We have actually been able to set about $4.5 million aside, because we know over the next 3 to 4 years, we've got a list of projects coming that our county engineer's office is going to be working with, and we want to be ready when that happens so that we're able to tap into that federal money when possible. Now, within this budget hearing, we always take into effect the Kino Fund, and so on the Kino Fund side, nothing too much out of the ordinary. The main thing that we spend in our Kino Fund is prevention grants, the East Beltway, and the roadside memorial. Really, the only thing that we're doing with this East Beltway is we slid about $1.3 million over to the East Beltway Fund, and so we've got about $3.4 million in there, and we haven't spent a whole lot of that recently, but land purchases could be coming at any point in time as we keep moving out there. So Kino this year is really kind of, we're trying to just bump our East Beltway funds set aside. Last thing on the expenditures that I would just note is our 3 largest departments is corrections, which is about $33.2 million. Our county engineer's office is about $32.1 million, and then our county sheriff's office, which is $16.3. So just when you hear that, what that will then tell you is public safety is kind of our number one expenditure by function, and that's been like that for quite a while. Let's talk let's just talk general fund specifically. I kind of told you what's driving that. One of the things is, this year how we're funding some of this is we're using our remaining amount of CARES Act money. The CARES Act money we really received based off of salaries for our sheriff's office, our corrections, our youth services. And so we had received that based off of those salaries. So it's kind of how we're also taking on that first year of the larger union contracts. We've got some estimated growth in revenues, and then our fund balance is also playing a role in it this year. Our largest source of revenue for Lancaster County is taxes. And when I say taxes, I'm talking property tax, I'm talking motor vehicle tax, and I'm talking inheritance tax. Lancaster County, we do dump our inheritance tax straight into our general fund, so we kind of really use it for property tax relief. And with that in mind, that on the inheritance tax side, you might not get that property tax relief that current year, but one of the things that we're able to do is what I mentioned is fund balance comes into play when we determine what are we going to do the next year. And so that's kind of what's happening is as we're going through here, and with the property tax side, you will see that our fund balance did buy that thing down a little bit. Last couple things before I talk about property tax, cash reserves. We've been trying to deal with cash reserves for quite a few years. This year, we will have our cash reserve set at $18.6 million, which is actually an increase of $2 million from last year. It doesn't get us to where we need to be, but it's getting us closer to where we need to be. So what I always tell people is that cash reserve will be a conversation that will take place every year. New FTEs. When we calculate FTEs, we also calculate in part-time employees, on-call employees, overtime. We calculate that out to all be part of the FTEs. When we talk about new positions this year, 6 new positions, 2 over at the Crisis Center, and 1 actually happened during last budget year. So we put a mental health clinician over there and a registered nurse. One of them is being funded by the region. The other is being funded within the same property tax request that the Crisis Center got last year. The other 4 is for a bridge and maintenance crew out at our county engineer, and that one also is being funded within the same property tax request that the engineer's office worked with last year. The part that messes a little bit more with our FTEs is out at our corrections, because of the number of on-calls and overtime, the calculation tends to calculate out about 9 more FTEs. But as soon as we start getting a little bit closer to fully staffed, those numbers will decrease. So that's a calculation at that point in time, which is really June 30th. 3 largest departments FTEs, same 3 that we talked about for the dollar wise. Okay, so let's talk the property tax. So last year our property tax levy was 26.4076. So when we built this budget, we used a projection of 2.5% for a valuation increase. So over the last week or so, we've gotten the valuation, and the valuation was amended again yesterday. So here's kind of where we're at right now. The total tax on a 26.4076 would be at about 89.4 million. After looking at this, the resolution that is on the agenda during the regular meeting will show that we are going to take 189,490 of it and move that into the sinking fund for future projects. That's whether we decide to put it into the federal aid projects. It depends. You know, like what we did last year, we sat it there until a decision was made on what we wanted to do. And what we wanted to do with it last year, we said, let's put it into the federal aid projects to kind of get us there. The other...
Could you repeat that amount again?
189,490. So the valuation now has increased by 4.01% from last year. I built it at 2.5%. So the 189,000 being moved over moves my projection from 2.5 to 2.72%. The other part of that valuation increase, which is about $1.1 million, will just be applied against the levy, and we're going to reduce the levy by that. So with that, it will reduce the levy by about 1.24%. The new levy will be at 26.0814. So from 26.4076 to 26.0814. As far as everything I've talked about with the property tax side, throughout the budget process, I've talked about the new special public hearing that will be held on like September 22nd. with this budget, if it's adopted, the way the resolution is set up today is Lancaster County will not be in attendance at that meeting. Our growth percentage came in at 2.13%, which if you add, statute allows you to add 2% to that, so it becomes 4.13% that we had to be below to not go to that special hearing. We're going to be at 2.72%. So we will kind of run that meeting, but we will not be participating in that meeting. So other than that, if you've got any questions for me.
What's the difference between the real growth number and the 4 whatever percent that we're at now?
The real growth number is really strictly just on real property.
Right, that's like,
Yeah,
that's
and
hammer
so
swinging.
so what kind of happens with some of the growth here is, you know, you start taking into effect some of the TIF projects. What we find out is there were some larger TIF projects that have now come off the books,
Right.
which then takes your valuation up, which, like I've mentioned, I haven't seen the valuation go up from the abstracts like it has this year in the other years that I've been doing this. And I think it's because of some larger TIF projects that go finish up and get taken off, and maybe then not big new ones getting put on the books.
Right. So they're
And then
falling off their ledge into the.
And then the assessor's office mentioned that centrally assessed, which isn't part of real property, also increased at a certain level. So you've got just, and that's why this special public hearing and these postcards and just even the valuation notices that are going out to everybody is just going to confuse the issue all the way around. So that's what makes it difficult to say, you know, with questions. It's okay, what are we talking about exactly? But anyway, special public hearing, we will not be participating this year.
Questions for Dennis? And you'll make a similar but briefer presentation at 9 o'clock, right?
Yes, I will.
And we are, there is a deadline for final action?
Yeah, well, I mean, everything. We always kind of try to take action because with this special hearing that's taken place, you know, we now have to get postcards out 7 days in advance. They actually moved back the filing date with the state auditor's office by 10 days to September 30th, but we've got everything else here in September to take care to make sure, you know, do the schools have to participate? Do the cities? Do the community colleges? So I just talked to a school this morning, and what we're finding out is there's maybe subdivisions that are going to maybe need to move their budget hearing dates because everybody's so used to leaving it closer to September 20th. And now it's like, you know what? We got to get postcards out. We got to get stuff out. So it's kind of changing a lot of different dates to kind of get the process to kind of try to work as smooth as everybody wants it to.
And the postcard hearing is in place. It's like a pilot project, 1 year, or is this around forever?
For right now, it's around forever.
Okay.
Hopefully, we'll see how everything works, but hopefully we'll be able to report back, and then the legislature can make their decision on are they getting out of it what they thought they were going to.
All right.
Okay?
All right, thank you. Anyone else wishing to provide public comment on the proposed budget for fiscal year 22-23?
And since there's a public hearing, I'll need to swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Bud Seinhorst, President and CEO of the Lincoln Independent Business Association. Here today just to provide a few comments related to the budget that you will be voting on later today. Over the course of the last several weeks, we have spent a lot of time with our members taking a look at the budget, asking questions amongst ourselves, and just having some conversations. I want to thank Dennis for spending some time with us just to talk through questions that we had. We appreciate his time and also the follow-up that we've been able to have when we've just had different questions related to the budget. Just a couple items I want to comment on specifically in the budget and what's been going on here over the last couple of years here in our county and the effects on our business community. As we all know, businesses have suffered a lot in the last 2 years. Workforce is a huge issue. We're addressing that every day with our members, talking about what things we can do to help recruit, retain, and find ways to creatively bring people to the table so that our businesses, especially our small businesses, can continue to support our community. And first of all, I want to commend the things that the board has done to address the sheriff's office and county corrections specifically. After seeing what the state did with their bonuses and their raises and all of that, and now recently Lincoln Police Department has elevated their wages. Thank you for what you're doing to protect public safety and making those investments for our correction workers and also the deputy sheriffs. It's important. Public safety is a paramount staple that we've stood up for on a regular basis at LIBA, and we really appreciate that. And also just kind of tying into those staffing shortages, a 5 FTE increase in the budget, I think, was it 5 or 6? Did I get 6? I'm sorry, Dennis. I think that's responsible, and I think taking a look at some of the contracted services that were used in the engineer's office, which are now being moved in, I think that's a great way to take a look at those things and a good way to give the engineer resources while always having a net zero in the budget. So thank you. We appreciate that very much. And then also, because of the current economic state and the things that have happened during the pandemic, we appreciate the way you've handled the investment of broadband with ARPA funding and those kind of things. I think those are forward-thinking things and showing the taxpayers really what's important. So we appreciate your hard work. We appreciate what you've done. I think those are all good things with the budget. A minor increase in a budget at a time like this is certainly nice to see, showing some restraint other than other political subdivisions that happen to meet right here in this building who adopted a budget significantly larger with larger increases. So with that, I really appreciate your time today, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
No,
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Appreciate the comments. All right. Anyone else wishing to provide public testimony on the proposed budget? All right. Seeing no one, is there a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Second?
All right. Motion is second to adjourn. Call the roll, please.
Flower Day,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right.
We have 7 minutes.
7 minutes. right, good morning. This is the Tuesday, August 23rd meeting of the Lancaster County Board of Commissioners. My name is Deb Shore, serving as chair this year. To my left, Vice Chair Christy Yoakum, Commissioner Best, and to my right, fellow Commissioners Rom Amundsen and Sean Flowerday. If you would please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right. Mr. Clerk.
A copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is located on the wall at the rear of the hearing room. Additionally, all written material to be discussed at today's open meeting is available for electronic viewing from the county clerk staff. Printing options are available upon request. The material can also be viewed on the county's website at lancaster.ne.gov. Agenda item 1 are minutes. Approval of the minutes of the Board of Commissioners meeting held on August 16th, 2022.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay. Comments or corrections? Call the roll, please.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundsen,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Next is number 2, claims. 2A is approval of the claims process through August 23rd, 2022.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the claims. Call the roll, please.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundsen,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Next is 2B, claims including billing for goods and services beyond the 90-day time period in the Nebraska Revised Statute 23-135. This is for Nebraska State Patrol dated August 10th, 2022 for a total of $1,187.93.
Move approval. Oh,
A
go
little bit
ahead.
of information. No. Additional information is always valuable.
Kim Etherton, Director of the Lancaster County Community Corrections. This is one of the grants through the STOP program, the law enforcement STOP program. The invoice was not submitted to us until a couple of weeks ago. So we do try to stay on top of them, reminding them to get those submitted so we can get them paid on time, but oftentimes they just are late, so.
Well, I'm sure you duly scolded them, and given that information, I will move
Mandy
approval.
does a nice job of staying on top of it, so.
I still move approval.
I'll second.
All right, call the roll, please.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundsen,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Next is number 3, consent items. These are routine business items that are expected to be adopted without dissent. Any individual item may be removed for special discussion and consideration by a commissioner or by any member of the public without prior notice. Unless there's an exception, these items will be approved as one with a single vote of the Board of Commissioners. These items are approval of amendments to the following county contracts. C-21-650 with Mystery Yards and More LLC for annual snow and ice removal. C-21-649 with LeGrand Excavating, Inc. for annual snow and ice removal. C-18-535 with Sherwin-Williams Company for paint and related products. C-18-51 with Rochester Armored Car for annual armored car services. C-22-73 with Felsberg, Holt, and Ulevig for professional engineering services needed for the replacement of Bridge 253, C-253 located on West Branch Oak Road. Right-of-way contract with Philip R. Pfeiffer, North 56th Street and Branch Oak Road in the amount of $1,231. Setting the following public hearings on Tuesday, September 6, 2022 at 9 a.m. in room 112, the County City Building. This is adoption of the Lancaster County Zoning and Subdivision fee schedules and amendments of the Lancaster County General Assistance Guidelines.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the consent items. Call the roll, please.
Amundsen,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Next is number 4. This is a public hearing for the purpose of Section 147F of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 as amended for and on behalf of the county and the city of Crete, Nebraska, regarding the issuance of bonds by the county for the benefit of the Bryan Medical Center.
Good morning.
I'll need to swear you guys in. If you want to raise your hands, do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Colleen Duncan. I'm a partner at Gilmore & Bell. We are the county's bond counsel. The matters before you today, this hearing and the following resolution relate to a conduit bond financing for and on behalf of Bryan Medical Center. This is Mike Dorff. He's the CFO. He's here with me today to answer any questions you might have about the project. These bonds would be issued under the industrial development bond statute, similar to other nonprofit financing the county has assisted with. There is obviously, as we have talked about many times, no pecuniary liability for the county related to these bonds. The county's involvement is required under federal tax law so that the nonprofit medical facilities can take advantage of the tax-exempt status of the bonds. The related resolution, which is the following item, authorizes the county to enter into the bond documentation. This is a new money financing, so there are some new projects, so Mike can talk about those, and we also are refinancing some 2008 bonds in connection with the new money issuance. So I'm happy to answer any questions you have. I won't jump up here when the resolution is up unless there are any questions, but Mike's going to talk about the project for a second here.
Okay.
Yeah, a couple of new projects. One to reimburse ourselves for a surgery project, really expanded operating rooms, created more pre and post operating rooms and more privacy and convenience for patients and the families. And then another part of the new money will be used to purchase a support services building, I think on 84th.
Okay.
Any other questions I'd be happy to answer.
And go ahead.
Yes, Colleen?
Yes.
I don't know if it was you or someone else, but we did this with Eastmont Towers a while back when they were expanding. This is the same process.
It's identical. Yep,
Yeah.
that was me. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, and as you pointed out, we're a part of it, but we're not financially responsible for the $100 million that's going to
Correct.
appear on
That would be this gentleman to my left.
We'll let Mike take care of it.
And do you want to just explain a little bit about the city of Crete and while
Sure.
that is in?
Right, exactly. Thank you. The city of Crete, part of the facilities that are being refinanced are in the city of Crete. So under federal tax law, the county, Lancaster County, is permitted to hold a public hearing for both the citizens of the county and the citizens of Crete, where that facility is located. So we have to hold a hearing. It's within 100 miles, we can hold a joint hearing. So we did this, I think, for the Tabitha financing as well, because they had an identical situation. But that's why. But the city of Crete is also involved. They know that this is happening.
A very specialized area of tax law, and that's why we see Colleen here every time.
Really smart.
Yeah, they're really smart, really smart. All right, any questions?
Nope.
All right, is there anyone else wishing to provide public comment on this item? All right, seeing none, thank you very much. We will close the public hearing and move on to new business item 5A.
This is a resolution authorizing the issuance of revenue and refunding bonds, Series 2022C, in a principal amount not to exceed $100 million for the purpose of making a loan to Bryan Medical Center to finance and refinance certain capital projects, authorizing the execution and delivery of certain documents in connection with the issuance of such bonds and approving related matters.
Move approval.
Second?
All right, a motion is second to approve this resolution. Call the roll, please.
Best,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes,
Motion carries 5-0.
thank you.
5B is a resolution, a matter of exceeding the budgeted and restricted funds limited for the 2021-2022 fiscal year by an additional 1%.
We are all things money that now just did $100 million resolution, and now we're on to this.
You know what they say? 100 million here, 100 million there. Sooner or later, adds up to real cash.
Okay, so this resolution deals with what we call the lid on restricted funds. So Next resolution will be adopting of the budget. This one kind of is kind of setting it up so we can do the lid calculation and kind of get that set up so that we can kind of show how we're within the statutory limits. So what the lid allows you to do is allows you to grow by 2.5% every year. With a vote, we can increase that by an additional 1%, so that lid can grow by 3.5%. So this would allow for that to happen, and what I always remind everybody each year is, you've already heard me talk at the budget hearing about what property taxes are going to do. People automatically think we're going to raise property tax by another additional 1%. That really doesn't have anything to do with that. We've already made that decision. This is just setting us up to show how this works for the lid. We don't have any problems with the lid, but it allows us to set the base amount so that hopefully down the road that we don't have a problem with the lid. So this is just kind of getting us the set up so that we're still in compliance, but we're also setting ourselves up for future years.
Okay. Thank you. Is there a motion?
Yeah, move approval.
Second.
There you go.
All right, call the roll, please.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. C is a resolution in matter of approving the Lancaster County budget for fiscal year 2022 through 2023.
All right, so this resolution is just that, the adoption of the budget. Attachment A on here, and I've given Megan a revised A because we talked earlier that the valuation adjusted by 4.01% compared to the 3.88% when I put this resolution together. The only thing that's changing is on attachment A, I always kind of note what the levy is going to be and then the changes below it. So the only thing that's changing on here is dropping the tax rate to that 26.0814 that I talked about earlier. The changes to the actual proposed budget is at $189,490. So basically, we're going to collect it. It's going to then be transferred from our general fund to our sinking fund, and then we're gonna set it aside there until the county board determines which project or projects that they want to apply that to. So that's what attachment A on the adoption of the budget's doing.
I move approval of this resolution.
Second.
We've discussed that. We've been in discussions about this since January, February. Dennis has skillfully led us through all the moving parts on this budget in a very challenging year, and that actually started with last year's reduction in the levy. When we reduced the levy a year ago by 1.75 for the county funds, we knew we were challenging ourselves to be very fiscally responsible this year. Added to that, we got the unexpected challenge of the state action, the changes in the courts, medical costs. This is a tremendous piece of work by all the department heads, by Dennis and his staff, and kudos to all of you commissioners. This is a great achievement, and the fact that we are now lowering the levy 2 years in a row is significant, and I'm just honored to be a part of this group as we put this challenging budget together.
Yeah, I'm really, really, really proud to see the levy, marching in the right direction 2 years in a row. I do think we have things in Lancaster County moving in the right direction from a fiscal sense. And, we've done it while increasing the cash reserve. We've done it while being able to create a new road maintenance crew in county engineering. We've done it while being able to, stay competitive in law enforcement salaries. And this is good stuff we've got here. And we've really done a nice job. I'm really proud of this team.
Right, because you mentioned some of it. Also remember, we've got $4.5 million set aside for the county, or for the federal aid projects.
Right.
We've got money set aside for CGIS, so as that project is going, we've got the money to pay for that.
Yeah.
You mentioned the cash reserve. We also are helping our other self-insurance fund, bumping that a little bit so that, when we say we're self-insured, the numbers will now prove why we're self-insured. So we were able to do a lot of things that maybe going into it, we didn't even know if we could do that. So
I would add one comment, Deb. The things that Sean and Dennis have pointed out are what give me the comfort to support another reduction in levy. The fact that the board has positioned itself towards future obligations. We have money set aside. We're not saying we'll worry about it someday. We have taken steps. So well said. And I would, we already have a motion, so I'll leave it there.
No, I couldn't agree more with the comments every year. I think, well, we've never seen a budget year like this. We've never seen a budget year like this.
Right.
And to make it even more complicated was all the ARPA funds that your team had to deal with. So it was like double work, and I know that impacted Ron and Michaela and the clerk's office and the county attorney's office and all the other players that have to come together to make this a success. So thank you. Call the roll, please.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Best,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. D is a resolution in the matter of a request to vacate Road 1208, more particularly described in Exhibit A and B, and located in Lancaster County, Nebraska.
Pam Dingman, Lancaster County Engineer. We've been before you several times to talk about this this vacation as described in the exhibit that I've just put up on the overhead. This road is being vacated to make way for a more modern road. We don't put our roads on grids anymore. We don't put our roads on grids for a reason. We know that it's better for communities and neighborhoods if we have a little meander in the road. So this vacates the 1892 document, which I'll also put up on the overhead.
Yeah.
We have a lot of these types of documents in county engineering that are handwritten like this, and we had really great script handwriting in 1892. Our grandmothers would have been really proud of us. So,
Move approval.
Second.
A motion and a second. I believe the document even has the names of what county commissioners at the time listed on it. So, yeah, very interesting. Call the roll.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Best,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. 5E is a resolution in the matter of rescinding county resolution number R220060 and setting a public hearing regarding the vacation of a 50-foot right-of-way of North Street, Raymond, Nebraska, more particularly described in Exhibit A and located in Lancaster County, Nebraska.
Pam Dingman, Lancaster County Engineer. The exhibit I'm putting up on the overhead, and I'm going to point to the little tiny piece of vacated road. This is a piece of road on the north end of Agnew, which would have originally connected to Highway 79. That connection is no longer allowed, and so this vacation has been brought forth. You're seeing it again due to a technicality, so we're just going to start over, and we're going to get it done right this time.
Move approval.
Second.
All right. Call the roll, please.
Best,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. F is a resolution in a matter of authorizing the county clerk to issue payments while the county board is adjourned.
I move approval.
Second.
Routine business when the county board does not have a regular meeting and summer vacation season is upon us. So call the roll.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Best,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. G is an agreement with Interview Now, Inc. to provide 1 year of recruiting software for the Lancaster County Sheriff's Office. The cost of county is not to exceed $10,500.
Sheriff Wagner.
Good morning, Terry Wagner, Lancaster County Sheriff. This software is just going to help us communicate better with our recruits. This is one of our strategies that we're trying out, just to make sure we're connected with the people who apply, keep them apprised of what's going on. It's a software that will help us do that and automatically notify applicants of different stages of the testing process. So that's what it's for.
Okay.
Move approval.
Second.
All right, call the roll, please.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Best,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. H is Federal Equitable Sharing Agreement and Annual Certification Report of the Lancaster County Sheriff's Office regarding equitable sharing activity of drug forfeiture funds for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2022.
Good morning again, Terry Wagner, Lancaster County Sheriff. This is an annual report that we make for equitable sharing. It's seized assets that we've been involved with. Both of these are with the federal government agencies. Treasury, the funds in Treasury come from our involvement with Homeland Security investigations, and the funds in Justice come from many cases we're involved with the FBI or DEA or ATF. So that's why the difference in the two. And so I'd answer any questions you might have.
Questions for the sheriff?
Move approval.
Second.
All right, motion is second to approve the agreement. Call the roll.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Best,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. 5I is to be held. J is a grant contract with the Board of Regents of the University of Nebraska in the amount of $40,000 to pay direct administrative costs for data analysis using American Rescue Plan Act funds.
Move approval.
Second.
A motion is second to approve this grant contract. Call the roll, please.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. K is an agreement with the Community Support Network, Inc. to source and provide individuals to perform microfilm and scanning services at the Records and Information Management Department as part of a rehabilitation, treatment, care, training, and educational program. The county will pay up to $78,000 for the services.
Move approval.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. 5L is an agreement with the Schemmer Associates, Inc. for professional engineering services on Phase 3 of a project to replace 15 culvert pipes in Lancaster County. American Rescue Plan Act funds will be used for this water and infrastructure project. The cost shall not exceed $211,772.50.
Pam Dingman, Lancaster County Engineer. This is the second of our two ARPA pipe culvert projects. These pipes will be primarily located in the southwest quadrant of the county. I think what I brought last week was the contract for which was really the east half of our county. And so moving forward, we will start to design on these ARPA pipes and get going.
Move approval.
Second.
I think we had, what, 2 million set aside for this? 2.7?
2.5.
2.5.
Commissioner Shore.
So we'll
It-
probably
as the
see it in
numbers
chunks
go.
at about this size, right?
I
I guess
well, you know,
chunks
this
is a
is-
wrong word.
This
but-
is the engineering design part of this contract. So what you're going to see is these two contracts as the engineering design, and then you'll see probably 1 to 4, probably somewhere around 2 to 4 different contracts let for the pipe construction themselves. So
This is just to lay the foundation for good work to be done when the construction crews show up by the smart folks at Schemer Associates.
that is correct. And so typically we do our pipe design in-house. However, with our large number of federal aid projects, and we have many of our young professionals, I thought it would benefit them to work through a federal aid project from start to finish, and so we're switching it up a little bit, and we're sending these out to the consultants. We will still have our in-house pipe design next year. This will give us a big boost to getting to a point where we don't have to deal with pipe failures like the 2 we dealt with last week.
Giving newer staff that experience is actually really invaluable. That's a good idea. Yeah.
It will help with recruitment and retention in the future.
Yeah. Nope. That's good on a lot of levels.
All right, do we have a motion?
We have a motion.
We do.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, call the roll, please.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. M is an agreement with Teal Geotech, Inc. for professional engineering geotechnical services for Wagon Train Recreational Road. The cost of county is not to exceed $11,300.50.
Pam Damon, Lancaster County Engineer. This is for testing, geotechnical testing services associated with the asphalt of the rec road that will start next week, kind of south of the Hickman area. We've been waiting for this project in conjunction with the state for about 3 years, so we're excited to get it started. However, we do want to make sure that we know the depth of our good asphalt and the quality of the asphalt being put down.
I move approval.
Second.
I do have to mention that I request that you, this is Candace Behrens from the County Attorney's Office, that you approve the agreement contingent upon receiving the proper insurance documentation. That's all.
So I move approval contingent on the proper insurance.
And that is the motion I will second.
Okay, call the roll, please.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. N is a contract with Dr. Feelgood to provide annual fuel tank maintenance and service. The cost of county is not to exceed $30,000.
Name of this company just makes me smile every year.
Ed Lawman, Lancaster County Engineering, Facility Management. This contract is just for the cleaning of our tanks and maintaining of our tanks so that we make sure that we reduce cost in the future with contaminants in our fuel and what have you. It's an ongoing contact. We get a lot of good feedback from this company. They do a thorough job. And they also help us with the compliance with the state and federal guidelines as far as our drip pits and everything else. So we get a lot of good information from these guys.
Multitude of benefits, it sounds like. I move approval.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. O is a recommendation from the purchasing agent and county engineer to award a bid to Pavers Inc. for the Yankee Hill and countywide pavement maintenance and repair project at an estimated cost of $195,959.40.
Pam Dingman, Lancaster County Engineer. This is really an emergency contract to take care of a pavement failure at 98th and Yankee Hill. This pavement failure happened when it was really hot out. We typically do have 1 to 2 pavement failures a year of this type when we get those degrees over 100. I would have expected more failure, except for we really have worked on our maintenance. This particular failure is by and large due to a change in the detour routes of the South Beltway, unfortunately. So this is additional funding that can be attributed to maintaining those routes. I'm gonna go ahead and put a little overhead up, and it's just a little tiny piece of road that's just north of Highway 2, Yankee Hill to 98th Street, and we will get in there next week and we'll get that fixed if you approve this contract.
Move approval.
Yeah, and I'll second that, but is this right is that the reason why we have the the weight limit on Yankee Hill?
That is correct, Commissioner Amundson. That is the reason why we reduced the weight allowed on Yankee Hill. I wanted to reduce the chance of additional failure and additional extreme expenses in that area. That was when we came to you a couple weeks ago, that was the first time in my tenure we'd actually reduced the weight on the roads. I know that commerce in this county is significant, especially with our rural community, and I take that very seriously. but this was a case where we just really needed to take that step.
And it should be a relatively quick repair.
We're hoping in just a couple weeks.
What do you think the running total is right now on we'll call it detour maintenance generated from South Beltway construction. Detour and construction maintenance though, because of the trucks. What do you think we're at?
I would hesitate to just pull a random number that may not be inclusive of all the damage, but the damage to our roads and the additional maintenance required has been significant to our operation, and quite frankly has been a burden to the entire county because of we're short staffed. We're not staffed up to prepare to take care of detours for a beltway.
Right. If the fancy ever strikes you, just to try to add the numbers up, I'd be fascinated to know them.
All right. Is there a motion?
Yeah, we already have it.
All right. Call the roll, please.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. 5P is authorizing and directing the county clerk's office to correct nunc-pro-tunc a clerical error in resolution R220049 by interlineating section 8 and places section 9 in the legal description of the resolution.
Move approval.
Second.
All right. Call the roll, please.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Next is number 6, public comment. Those wishing to speak on items relating to county business not on the agenda may do so at this time.
All right. Is there anyone here wishing to make public comment? Seeing no one, if you could continue with the announcements, please.
The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will hold a staff meeting on Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022, immediately following the Board of Commissioners' regular meeting in 112 of the County City Building. In place of the regularly scheduled staff meeting, the Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will attend the Chamber Federal Legislative Summit on Thursday, August 25th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. at the Strategic Air Command and Aerospace Museum. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will hold its next regular meeting on Thursday, August 25th, 2022, beginning at 3 p.m. in room 112 of the County City Building. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will not hold a regular meeting on Tuesday, August 30th, 2022, or a staff meeting on Thursday, September 1st, 2022, due to a lack of a quorum. County Commissioners can be reached at 402-441-7447 or commish@lancaster.ne.gov. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners meeting is broadcast live on Link TV's the City Government Access Channel. Link TV is available on Allo Channel 2 and Spectrum Channel 1300. For the rebroadcast schedule, visit lincoln.ne.gov. Meetings are also streamed live on Link TV, lincoln.ne.gov, YouTube, Link TV City, and Facebook.com at Lincoln, Nebraska. In addition, Link TV apps are available on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV.
Move we adjourn.
Second to adjourn. Call the roll, please.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much.